Alright, so it's time to look at another horror game. And this time, it's a series that falls under horror, but I would never classify this game under horror. I'd classify it as action. But it's Resident Evil 5, which is the follow-up to the acclaimed Resident Evil 4. This one came out in 2009, I believe, after the 2004 release of Resident Evil 4, if I'm remembering everything correctly. The 2004, I don't know if that was GameCube or PS2 for Resident Evil 4. I can't remember what the timetable of that was because it released on GameCube first with they had an exclusive deal with Nintendo, and that's when Resident Evil 0 and 4 came out. They came out on GameCube, and then, you know, yada yada. So this was 5, and I still really like Resident Evil 5. It was pretty different from a lot of the earlier Resident Evil games. It was the first one to dive into co-op, and you know, it does it really well. And it was pretty impressive how good the co-op stuff actually was.
The operation's already started.
Not to say it was perfect, and definitely caused some frustration in the game, especially when you're playing with AI, but for the most part, the AI works pretty well, and they improved it in future Resident Evil games. And I'm just going to skip all these videos here, as I usually do. So this is like the very beginning of the game. And it's been a while since I've played this, so I'm trying to like... That's awkward. So I am playing the PC version with my 360 controller as I do.
Whatever happens,
so I got my left trigger aim, right trigger
Don't worry.
fire,
I may not be
A
as
to
big
run,
as you,
X
but I can
to
still hold my
kind
end.
of interact with stuff. The one thing with this game is like you have to hold the left bumper to pull out your melee weapon and the trigger to use it, which is something they changed for Resident Evil 6, which actually sounds better. And I'll say I'm one of those people that actually like Resident Evil 6. That was not a well-liked game, but I enjoyed it. So this is the first level of Resident Evil 5, very early on. This is like literally right when the game opens. So I've played through this game so many times. This was my first platinum trophy on PlayStation 3, which means I had to beat the game on like every difficulty, and beating this game on the hardest difficulty is one of the most frustrating things I've ever done. Mostly just, and I did it by myself, so like, you know, as you play through the game, you all this money and stuff I'm picking up you can use to buy upgrades, and eventually you're just buying like unlimited ammo for all of your weapons and stuff. So eventually you're running through and you have like unlimited guns and all that stuff. So
Did you hear that?
the combat never becomes an issue. But even on the hardest difficulties, it's just like 2 hits and you're done, no matter how leveled up you are, strong you are, and things like that. But I did it all myself. Like, I had a friend that was gonna help me run through the veteran or professional, I think it is, difficulty, and he just like wasn't ready whenever I was ready, so I just did it myself. And it was, I figure I'll kind of let this go. The first time anything's gonna happen.
Freeze!
I always play my Resident Evil games with subtitles. I don't know. Some games just really need subtitles. It's just part of the experience. Yeah, so the enemies in this are not really zombies. It's kind of a building on what the enemies were in Resident Evil 4 with these parasites, but it's a more advanced version of the parasites. But Resident Evil is one of my favorite series. Like, Resident Evil 2 is in my top 3 like all-time favorite games. And I thought 5 was a solid closing to the story that started in the first game and carried through those first 4. It closes all the loops and deals with the character conflicts and finishes everything off. Maybe that was the problem with 6. There was no like built-up mythology there to continue with. 5 closed everything out. But I mean, again, I'm a defender of 6. It's not a perfect game, but I enjoyed 6.
What the hell just happened?
They didn't move like any zombies I've ever seen.
It's one of the only times I remember them actually saying zombie in the series.
Come on,
Roger.
Okay, so I got
Come on,
press my B
Roger.
button to Y for inventory. Okay. I figured out how to reload. somebody's trying to join my
We
game.
should keep moving. They'll find us soon.
Selected it as local only. As you can see there, somebody's trying to join my game. I selected local. Maybe local this
We need to get out of here. We need to get to that
in
house.
my area.
We'll have a better chance of fighting them for me.
You could stay and fight those guys and you get a little something for
Kirk.
doing it, but I'm just gonna...
The locals were hostile and we had to use force. We don't have any
You stay there, they
contingency
kinda
plans
just
for
keep
this
coming
situation,
until
do
you
we,
kill 'em
Kirk?
all.
Roger on the locals.
I don't have the ammo for that.
But your
now.
orders still stand.
Maybe.
What does that mean?
This is one of those games
Come
I
on!
kind of
Expecting
played
this?
enough that it's like I knew where everything was. It's probably the last game I ever bought a strategy guide for, which was, you know, the end of the strategy guide era for me. Yeah, so one thing I will say about Resident Evil 6 is I thought the movement really was improved because the movement just feels so weird here, and maybe it's just because it's been so long since I played it, but that's one thing I noticed that's different. Yeah, I mean, Resident Evil 5, it's still a great game to this day. I mean, everybody always talks on 4, but I feel like 5 is more of 4, but with better gameplay, because I definitely feel like 5 plays better than 4, and that's probably just because, like, oh, you know, it's iteration and sequels and stuff like that, but I'm getting all choppy here. All right. Plenty of items here. This first level is one I've replayed so many times just because, like, they give you so many weapons and things here. Alright, so now this is kind of I gotta defend it until this door opens the wall here. Once it opens, we gotta bust through here.
I need ammo.
One thing that always bugs me about people games is like headshots are never like in zombie things. It's always like, yeah, headshots are that's all you need. Killing one blow, one shot. That's never been that way. I mean, they always have their excuses. Like, here, they're not zombies. Even in 6, they're like, yeah, zombies are back. That's always
Kirk, come in. The locals are hostile. The gate is sealed, and we're trapped. We need backup, and we need it right now.
Roger that. Just sit tight. I'm on my way.
Did you hear that, Sheva? Help's on the way.
yeah,
Got
guys,
it.
get stunned.
Just hope he gets here quick.
Yeah, that's good. Oh, yeah, so let's shut up. Yeah, you get this co-op. So you're part of the BSA game. Alright, so yeah, basically the whole point here is you're just kind of like the guy at the helicopter that's here. Save you. My strategy is always just come in here and just keep going at these guys. It's pretty easy to survive here. There's like a machine gun out there, but
Help me! Thanks, partner.
We've got to hold out till Kurt gets here.
Standing near your partner. There's like a down and out beginning here. You can hit them. Kind of
Take this.
definitely gets very challenging. There's no example.
Chris, how you holding up? I'll be there shortly. Just hang in there.
I owe you one.
Eventually, you'll get like start blowing guys heads off.
Sorry to keep you waiting.
Kill him again.
I'm gonna take out the door. Find some cover.
Here's the end of the level. So yeah, that's the first level of Resident Evil 5, and it's a solid Resident Evil game. Not my favorite, but probably in top 3. I mean, the first 3 to me are the classics. So those will always be my favorite. Resident Evil 5. I think I like 5 and 4, even though 4 is the one that was so revolutionary. But 5 to me is just something I played a lot more and enjoyed a lot more. So if you like it, pick it up. You can get it on Steam, Xbox, PS3. But thanks for watching, and check the game out.